The country club's garden terrace sparkled with pink and gold decorations as family and friends gathered to celebrate my sister Jessica's baby shower. 60 guests filled the elegant space, their conversations mixing excited squeals about baby names with updates on home renovations, luxury vacation plans, and private school decisions that marked their comfortable suburban success. I sat at a corner table near the gift display, watching my accomplished family network in their designer maternity wear and tailored suits. Everyone looked prosperous, established, and eager to shower Jessica with expensive presents that demonstrated their financial stability and social standing within our carefully curated social circle. Emma. Cousin Rachel approached with her signature blend of sympathy and superiority, her diamond tennis bracelet catching afternoon sunlight. As a successful pharmaceutical sales representative, Rachel embodied everything the family considered appropriate achievement. "How are you holding up, sweetie? This must be so hard for you." "I'm fine, thanks. Excited for Jessica's baby." "Of course you are," she said with practiced empathy. "But seeing everyone else's success, their marriages, their financial stability, it must be difficult when you're still struggling to find your path." Before I could respond, Aunt Margaret joined our conversation, her Chanel handbag and fresh from the salon highlights announcing her husband's continued success in commercial banking. "Emma, dear, are you still doing that computer thing? What do they call it? Cryptocurrency." "I work in blockchain technology and digital asset management," I said quietly. Right, she nodded with the patient tolerance reserved for explaining complex topics to children. "And how's that working out financially? Are you making enough to support yourself?" The question hung in the air like expensive perfume. At 29, I was the family's economic disappointment. Single, childless, and pursuing what they considered a risky technology venture instead of establishing a traditional career with steady income and recognizable social status. "I'm managing fine," I replied, knowing the answer would be dismissed as defensive deflection. "Managing," Aunt Margaret repeated with gentle concern. "Emma, sweetheart, maybe it's time to consider something more stable? Rachel's pharmaceutical company is always looking for administrative support. Steady paycheck, excellent benefits, clear advancement opportunities." The conversation continued around me as more relatives gravitated toward our group, drawn by the familiar entertainment of Emma's continued financial struggles and questionable life choices. They discussed my situation with the fond concern typically reserved for that relative who kept making poor decisions despite everyone's well-intentioned advice. "The thing about these cryptocurrency ventures," Uncle Paul added, arriving with his golf tan and expensive watch that announced his real estate development success, "is that they're essentially gambling. No real underlying value, just speculation and market manipulation." My phone had been buzzing persistently in my purse throughout the afternoon, but I'd learned to ignore notifications during family celebrations. Whatever was happening in the crypto markets could wait until after Jessica's special day. "What Paul's saying," Rachel continued with pharmaceutical sales authority, "is that Emma needs to think practically about her future. No steady income, no employer benefits, no retirement planning. At 29, shouldn't she be building something sustainable?" Jessica floated past in her designer maternity dress, glowing with the satisfaction of perfect life timing. Successful husband, beautiful home, baby on the way, surrounded by friends and family celebrating her achievements. She paused at our table with the gracious attention of someone whose life was unfolding exactly according to plan. "Emma," she beamed, her voice carrying that particular mix of sisterly affection and subtle superiority. "I'm so glad you could make it. I know baby showers aren't really your thing since you're still focusing on your career. I wouldn't miss it, Jess. You look radiant." "Thank you. David and I are so blessed. The nursery's finally finished. We closed on the bigger house last month, and David's promotion means we can really start planning for the baby's future. Private schools, college funds, all those important investments." She paused meaningfully, her words designed to highlight the contrast between her settled success and my apparent lack of direction. "Still broke and bitter?" she whispered with sisterly concern, though loud enough for nearby relatives to hear. "I worry about you. Maybe this baby will inspire you to think about your own future more seriously." The gift opening ceremony was about to begin, with Jessica positioned at the center of attention while family members presented increasingly expensive presents, Designer strollers, luxury baby monitors and premium nursery furniture that demonstrated their financial capability and commitment to the newest family members' comfort. That's when the country club's mounted television screens, which had been quietly displaying the club's promotional videos, suddenly switched to BBC breaking news coverage with urgent red banners and dramatic music designed to capture immediate international attention. Breaking. Mysterious cryptocurrency mogul identity revealed in major financial disclosure. The celebration continued around Jessica's gift unwrapping, but I felt my stomach drop as my phone buzzed more insistently against my leg. This couldn't be happening. Not today. Not during Jessica's baby shower in front of 60 family members and friends who considered me the cautionary tale about pursuing unrealistic dreams. The news ticker scrolled across every screen. Blockchain innovation. So Emma Watson revealed AS cryptocurrency billionaire worth $12 billion. Uncle Paul glanced at the television while helping Jessica with an elaborate gift box. $12 billion in cryptocurrency? These digital asset people have too much theoretical money. Probably just inflated valuations that'll crash next week. Breaking update. Emma Watson, 29, controls largest private cryptocurrency portfolio in North America. My professional headshot filled every screen in the country club. Jessica's gift unwrapping stopped mid-ribbon as 60 guests slowly turned to stare at the televisions, then at me, then back at the screens in mounting confusion and growing amazement. The perfect baby shower had just become something else entirely. The digital revolution exposed. The silence that followed was the kind that happens when collective reality shifts so dramatically that human consciousness requires several seconds to process entirely new information. 60 family members and friends turned to stare at the BBC coverage, then at our corner table, then back at the screens in mounting confusion and growing shock. Blockchain Innovations founder Emma Watson revealed AS world's youngest female cryptocurrency billionaire. Scrolled relentlessly across the bottom of every television screen, the text moving with the mechanical precision of global financial markets announcing seismic shifts in digital asset leadership. Rachel's champagne flute froze halfway to her lips, bubbles rising through expensive crystal as her hand trembled with obvious shock. That's our Emma. The professional BBC anchor's voice cut through the stunned baby shower atmosphere with practiced international authority. 29-year-old Emma Watson, founder and CEO of Blockchain Innovations, has been revealed as the mysterious figure behind the largest private cryptocurrency portfolio in North America, with holdings valued at approximately $12 billion. Aunt Margaret's Chanel handbag slipped from her lap and hit the terrace stone with an expensive thud that echoed through the suddenly silent garden party. Watson's revolutionary blockchain protocols have processed over $800 billion in cryptocurrency transactions across multiple digital currencies. The anchor continued with the kind of reverence typically reserved for breaking financial news that reshapes global markets. Her innovations in digital asset security and transaction processing have made her one of the most influential figures in the cryptocurrency industry. Uncle Paul stared at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen, his mouth opening and closing like someone trying to speak a foreign language they'd never encountered. $12 billion? In cryptocurrency? That can't be real money. But the footage was undeniably me, speaking at prestigious fintech conferences, demonstrating blockchain technology to amazed financial experts, being interviewed by major international media outlets about the future of digital currencies and their impact on global financial systems. Watson, who has maintained complete anonymity while building her cryptocurrency empire over the past 5 years, becomes one of the youngest self-made billionaires in history, BBC reported with obvious excitement. Financial analysts are calling her blockchain innovations the most significant advancement in digital currency technology since Bitcoin's creation. Jessica's perfectly curated baby shower had frozen in time, expensive gifts half-opened and scattered across designer tables as 60 guests stared at the screens showing my company's headquarters, sophisticated cryptocurrency mining operations, and elegant technology centers that had emerged from 5 years of 18-hour workdays in basement server rooms. "You're a billionaire?" Jessica whispered, her voice barely audible above the continued international news coverage. I nodded calmly, taking a sip of sparkling water while watching their faces cycle through disbelief, confusion, and dawning comprehension. Apparently so. The entire country club terrace had gone completely silent except for the continued BBC coverage. Every guest openly stared at our corner table, watching what had to be the most dramatic baby shower revelation in country club history. Phones appeared everywhere as people began frantically Googling my name and company. "But you said you worked in blockchain technology," Rachel whispered, her pharmaceutical success suddenly seeming very small. "I do. I founded Blockchain Innovations 5 years ago when I was developing more secure methods for cryptocurrency transactions and digital asset management." "Your basement apartment?" Aunt Margaret's voice cracked with the weight of social realization. The news footage cut to demonstrations of my cryptocurrency systems. Complex networks that could process thousands of transactions per second across multiple digital currencies, with security protocols that had never been successfully breached by hackers or cybercriminals. Watson's breakthrough protocols solve fundamental problems in cryptocurrency scalability and security, the BBC anchor explained to the mesmerized international audience. Her innovations enable instant transactions with virtually no fees while maintaining absolute security against cyber attacks. Jessica approached me cautiously, her baby shower celebration completely forgotten. "Emma, what exactly does your company do? In terms we can understand." I looked around at their expectant faces, the same faces that had dismissed my explanations for years as incomprehensible computer science jargon with no connection to practical financial applications or real economic value. "I built systems that make cryptocurrency transactions faster, cheaper, and more secure than traditional banking," I began, using the patient tone I'd developed through countless failed attempts to explain my work. "Instead of international wire transfers taking days and costing significant fees, my protocols process the same transactions in seconds for fractions of pennies. Every major cryptocurrency exchange now licenses Watson's technology," the news continued as if providing real-time fact-checking for my explanation. "Her protocols process approximately 40% of all global cryptocurrency transactions." Uncle Paul was frantically scrolling through his phone, his real estate success suddenly seeming antiquated compared to revolutionizing global financial systems. "Emma, there are hundreds of articles about you spanning the last 3 years. Forbes, Fortune, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times. You've been on the cover of Bloomberg Businessweek." "That interview was particularly insightful," I agreed. "You never told us about any of this success," Jessica said, her voice cracking with the weight of sisterly embarrassment and social confusion. "Tell you what, that my computer thing was actually legitimate financial technology." The question hung in the baby shower air like expensive perfume, heavy with implications about how families measure success and respect unconventional achievements that challenge traditional career expectations. The family financial reckoning. $12 billion, Rachel repeated slowly like someone trying to understand quantum physics without mathematical background. "You personally control $12 billion in cryptocurrency assets. That's the estimated value of my digital asset portfolio across multiple cryptocurrencies," I clarified professionally. "The valuation fluctuates with market conditions, but my company's technology licensing generates approximately $2 billion annually in stable revenue." $2 billion in annual revenue? Aunt Margaret asked weakly, her banking husband's success suddenly seeming very small. "Blockchain technology and cryptocurrency adoption are accelerating globally. My innovations capture value from that growth through transaction processing and security services." Jessica found her voice, though it carried the weight of someone whose fundamental assumptions about family hierarchy had just been demolished. "Emma, why didn't you tell us about the company's success? The industry recognition? The financial achievements?" I looked around at their shocked faces. People who'd shared family dinners with me for 29 years but had apparently never really understood what drove my interests or recognized the potential value of my technological work. "When have any of you ever asked about my actual business beyond dismissing it as risky computer gambling? You collectively decided cryptocurrency was a scam and stopped listening to my explanations about blockchain technology's practical applications." "But we're family," Rachel protested, her voice carrying the desperation of someone grasping for familiar ground during an economic earthquake. "Family members should share important financial achievements like this." "Should share what exactly?" "That the computer gambling you've been worried about was actually cutting-edge financial technology with enormous practical value. For 29 years my family doubted me. They wanted me in a real job, not chasing technology. At Jessica's baby shower, everything changed." Uncle Paul read aloud, stunned. The Financial Times says you advise central banks on cryptocurrency. Digital currency affects global stability, I explained. I help governments understand blockchain. He kept reading. You donated $300 million to tech education. Future innovators need support, I said. Jessica's perfect day was shaken. She read from her phone. Your company employs 15,000 people across 6 countries? Yes. We run exchanges and security centers worldwide. Silence fell. I could feel them remembering every time they dismissed me. Rachel tried. About what we said earlier, about needing steady jobs. You meant it, I said softly. You all believed I was wasting my life. Jessica whispered. We didn't know it was this big. You didn't try to know, I replied. When I explained, you changed the subject. The BBC kept running. My holdings, my blockchain empire, my billions. Aunt Margaret finally asked, what happens now? With us. I looked around and smiled. Now we finished Jessica's shower. Today is about her and the baby. The party continued, but the air had changed. My family looked at me differently. Uncle Paul leaned in. We should talk investments, data centers, property. I already have advisors, but thanks. Rachel added, healthcare is using blockchain. We have partnerships, but I appreciate it. Everyone tried to connect themselves to my success. Later, Jessica came to me, eyes full of pride and hurt. Emma, why didn't you tell us? I did, I said. But you never listened. You wanted me safe. I wanted to build. She nodded quietly. As guests left, they promised to stay in touch and collaborate. I walked past luxury cars to my simple Tesla, the car that carried me through years of doubt. My phone buzzed. BBC interviews. Central banks request urgent meetings. Send interviews to media. I texted my team. Focus on education, not my wealth. Driving home, I thought, my family needed billions to see value in me. But I always knew, blockchain wasn't gambling. It was the future.